What's up, gang? Welcome to the Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman Wrestlemania 39 preview show. My name is Mike Wellman. Thank you for hitting that play button. We are here. We are ready for Wrestlemania. I am joined to preview Wrestlemania 39 by the man, the myth, the notorious KRS. What's up, Kris?
What is going on?
You ready for Wrestlemania?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to it more than normally, but not as like I wouldn't. In years past, I haven't cared about WrestleMania in a long time, but I actually care about this one. But it's not like to me, it doesn't seem like it's to be the greatest WrestleMania ever. But we'll get into it.
I mean, I rewatched that Kevin Owens Stone Cold main event from WrestleMania last year. That thing, that was great. So we are here to preview WrestleMania 39. Thank you for hitting that play button. We have the show of shows. The road to WrestleMania has run out of pavement. No, the road to WrestleMania has led us to SoFi Stadium this weekend, night 1 Saturday, night 2 Sunday, or as Mark Wahlberg refers to them, WrestleMania Saturday and WrestleMania Sunday.
Cool.
Yep. So, but before we go any farther, oh, that was a bad button. Before we go any farther, that's right. We need you to be kind, subscribe, watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. You already know where you can find this podcast because you already found this podcast, whether it was on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Amazon, Audible, the video version on YouTube. You already found the podcast that breaks down the biggest stories in and out of the ring. So if you're watching the YouTube version, hello, hit like and subscribe. And you can find the podcast that breaks down the biggest stories in and out of the ring on Twitter at WWrestlingPod. We are at Watch Wrestling Pod on Facebook and Watch Wrestling Pod on YouTube. So consider checking out our Patreon. We have some new Patreon tiers. We're going to be coming out with a lot of Patreon content after WrestleMania. So go check out our Patreon. Choose a tier that fits, and we won't have any problems. Choose the gang affiliated tier. Get your debit card gang affiliated. But yes, as wrestling fan Kris, the notorious KRS, said, the build to this WrestleMania has been not that exciting, but we'll get to some of that. Some of the matches have had totally fine builds. Some of them have been great. Some I'm very much looking forward to, but some have been a little bit lackluster, and we're going to get to all that. So, like I said, thank you for hitting that play button. We appreciate you here, as always. You know, Kris, the last time WrestleMania went Hollywood, John Cena and Batista were mere challengers for their world championships. We had yet to see a Money in the Bank cash-in, and WWE pay-per-views were still presented by Raw and SmackDown. Did you know that?
That seems like a long time ago.
Not even presented by Raw, SmackDown, and ECW as of yet.
Oh man, that's old.
Yes, so that was WrestleMania 21, which took place at a building called the Staples Center. I've never heard of the Staples Center. I mean, I know NXT Stand and Deliver is going down at the Crypto.com Arena on Saturday.
That's got to be nearby.
I don't know where the Staples Center is. I don't know. Doesn't ring a bell. But yes. The Staples Center was the host of WrestleMania 21. WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. I also recently rewatched a lot of those WrestleMania vignettes, the movie ones. Everybody remembers Triple H as Braveheart, but they had a lot of them. They did a lot of them. They had Eugene, I believe, as Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
They had, I believe it was Stacy Keibler doing the Basic Instinct scene, I think.
Of course. WWE Hall of Famer.
And the one that I believe they waited until the intro of WrestleMania 21 to debut, which was the Stone Cold Steve Austin as Gladiator. So WWE is returning to Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area, for this year's WrestleMania, which goes down, like I said, WrestleMania Saturday, April 1st, and WrestleMania Sunday, April 2nd, from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The show is headlined on night 2 by Roman Reigns defending the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes, who returned to the WWE after a torn pectoral muscle kept him out of action for about 7 months almost, and won the 2023 Royal Rumble after entering at number 30. So the road to Roman versus Cody, that road has been set in stone, pretty much. And after Roman defeated Sami Zayn in Zayn's hometown of Montreal last month at the Elimination Chamber, we also have the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match, Rhea Ripley, challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania on night 1. Is that what we've been told?
Yes, I think we've been told that.
And Asuka, who won the Women's Elimination Chamber in February in Montreal, challenging Bianca Belair for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. And WrestleMania 39 will be hosted by The Miz. What are your thoughts on The Miz as a WrestleMania host, Chris?
I think that he will do just a fine job of making the show go along smoothly and just kicking it to whatever needs to get kicked to. Honestly, I think hosts of WrestleMania are kind of dumb in general, but if you're going to have someone, at least have someone like The Miz, who's top tier.
Do you think The Miz will take any bumps here at WrestleMania this year?
You have to. Of course he is. That's what he's there for. He's there to be stupid, do whatever they tell him to do, and then take bumps. That's it.
One time I think Heath took a bump at WrestleMania from Flo Rida. He wasn't the host, but it was like a backstage thing. I think Flo Rida knocked him out. If I remember.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the kind of thing that's going to happen. It's going to be something dumb. Like, The Miz will just do it. Like, if it's going to be Nicholas from the crowd coming back for another WrestleMania moment.
Nicholas?
Whatever.
My favorite tag team champion, Nicholas.
Yes.
Yeah. Nicholas, he was one of the greats. What a WrestleMania moment, winning the tag team championship. But yeah, so the show will be hosted by The Miz, and we'll see how much of The Miz we get on the actual shows. But WWE also has the NXT Stand and Deliver show on Saturday afternoon ahead of night 1 of WrestleMania, as well as the Hall of Fame induction ceremony set for Friday night after SmackDown with Rey Mysterio, The Great Muta, Andy Kaufman, and Stacy Keibler going into the Hall of Fame class of 2023. So we're just going to go through the announced matches for WrestleMania and like we said, the build up for each match, and share some of our predictions and maybe a few bookings that we might have for WrestleMania. But yeah, so let's get into some WrestleMania notes first here. So the first thing I want to point out is that this is the first WrestleMania that will be taking place with the man known as Triple H in creative control of WWE. Triple H obviously has been in control of the on-screen product in WWE since the unceremonious retirement of Vince McMahon last July. So yeah, I just wanted to point out that this is the first WrestleMania with Triple H running the show.
Do you think that has a big effect on the match quality or how the matches will take place? For me, it's more of he's more to the build and making the matches. So I wonder if there'll be a difference with the in-ring, Yeah,
the show could be structured differently ultimately than we've seen in the past. There could be Triple H could do like they used to do on the NXT cards, where they just do match after match after match after match, and not a lot of behind the scenes or backstage segments. Or it could be backstage segments. It could be a lot different, I think. I think it will be a lot different. I think it will be more in line with the NXT shows as far as like the structure of the show than we've seen, and less what Vince McMahon would give us.
You're right. I think I was just maybe not questioning. I should have just asked if it was going to be different, and I was hoping it was going to be different. So that'll be good to interesting to at least look into and kind of notice those kind of things.
The man known as Triple H is in charge. Did you see? I got that from a CNBC segment a while back, where Nick Khan was on CNBC talking about the potential of a WWE sale, and that was where one of the CNBC on-screen people, to try to really sum up the carny nature of pro wrestling for their audience, just said, the man known as Triple H is in charge of creative.
Oh, man.
It's like once you hear someone on CNBC say the man known as Triple H, I definitely understand why he prefers to be called Paul.
Yeah, that's like when someone says it like that, so matter of factly, like the man known as whoever, they don't take you seriously. Sorry, buddy.
It's just, it would be a whole thing. You're going to go into it with the CNBC audience. Well, you see, Triple H, it stands for Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You see, it was from like the early 90s. His character on wrestling was that he was from Greenwich, Connecticut. It's like,
yeah, but like people just turn the channel. They didn't even know what you said.
Should I buy this stock or not? So, yes, that's where I got that from. The man known as Triple H. So, like we said, this one's going down in SoFi Stadium. Last time WrestleMania was in Hollywood-ish area. They were at the Staples Center, aka Crypto.com Arena. So this is a big upgrade as far as size of venue. And it's a newer stadium. So that should be something interesting as a viewer as well. And like you mentioned to me the other day, a West Coast WrestleMania, it's probably going to be plenty of sunlight, for most of these matches.
Yeah, it reminds me of when it was in San Jose, right? When Triple H beat Sting, and it was just light. It seemed like it was light the whole time.
Oh yeah, it was just like daytime. Sting coming out in the daytime.
Kind of weird, but
yeah, and that sun was beating down on him. I felt like I was watching like Seth Rollins get a sunburn.
Yeah, I feel like this stadium though is new and it's going to be much better. Like that stadium, I believe that they were using there was like that's an old one. This will be updated. I think it'll be much better.
So yeah, so they'll be at SoFi Stadium both nights for WrestleMania. And one other disclaimer here is the missing build to WrestleMania, which is the build to Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt. So it seems as though that's not happening because they were building up to Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. And then as of March, we just stopped seeing Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy on TV. And Dave Meltzer reported that it was a health issue that was keeping Wyatt out. And they did not have any timeline on when he would be back, and he has not been back. So it seems like Bray Wyatt is dealing with a health issue that is keeping him off television. So Bobby Lashley has not been given an alternative opponent going into WrestleMania. He was just added to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which is happening on WrestleMania SmackDown. That was a mouthful.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So Lashley is in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which I guess we can talk about now if you want. Do you have a favorite here to win the Andre?
I just never know, because didn't Baron Corbin win once? So I never know who's going to win this.
Mojo Rawley won.
Oh, he won too. This is, oh, God.
Yep. So, yeah.
Lashley has to win, right? Well, it doesn't even, no offense, it doesn't even matter now. It's on SmackDown.
It is on WrestleMania SmackDown. You're right about that. Just like this past Monday was WrestleMania Raw.
Like, do you think they get WrestleMania paydays for being on WrestleMania SmackDown?
WrestleMania don't think that they do.
That's right.
I WrestleMania bet that they don't. Which seems like that would be the sucky part.
So Lashley's literally getting a WrestleMania SmackDown of his check.
Yeah.
Bank account.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? There's always stuff that they do on WrestleMania that's unannounced, but it doesn't seem like that's where they're going with Lashley.
I feel like it doesn't. Maybe they're going to do something though. Like we'll get into the card and everything, but I feel like there's not a ton of matches for 2 nights. I feel like it's not that much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting to me as well. I wonder how many sort of surprise segments they have planned. Because you got to figure, we'll get into it, but they're going to probably bring out the Hall of Famers both nights.
Definitely. There's probably a musical performance that we don't know about.
I know they have some like national anthem, I believe, performers lined up, but I don't know of anybody else that's going to be there.
Yeah,
music wise.
Wait and see.
I don't know of any like celebrities, like Regis Philbin type people, Pamela Anderson.
I don't know. I know the stadium is great. The stadium like brings a huge like feel to it and everything, and more fans. But I feel like since we do in WrestleMania in stadiums, those kind of like celebrities and everything, it's like harder to like make it seem like a big deal because we're just all outside in a huge stadium. So like Regis Philbin's there, you're like, oh cool, he's just a guy in the crowd now. Whereas like when it was a smaller arena, you could have Pamela Anderson drive up in the back and like the Bushwhackers would be the first ones to greet her. It wasn't the Bushwhackers, but whoever it was.
Yeah, so they haven't done something like that in a while, but it is Hollywood, so maybe they should.
True.
Let's get some Hollywood. There will be the sort of LA wrestling fans, right? Like whoever, like they do when they go to New York City or Boston. Sometimes they have people in the front row that are just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they'll probably do some outside of the ring stuff, or they'll just give a lot of time to these matches, which that could be another Triple H element. Every WrestleMania we've ever seen has been under the creative control of the man they call Vince McMahon. And now,
that's wild. When you put it into those words, like that is a crazy thing to think.
Yeah. And then this is the first one where the show, it might not be very different overall, but it could be theoretically. It could be very different in pacing and tone and, So we'll probably see, we will see Lashley in the Battle Royal on Friday. And do we think Lashley getting added means he'll automatically win?
They probably should, right?
I kind of feel bad for the rest of the guys now because Lashley was kind of booked, opposite Bray Wyatt. And now maybe there's not just giving him the win in the Battle Royal. Maybe someone like Bronson Reed could have won that thing. And
you're right. That's probably better for a story. Maybe Lashley, something happens with Uncle Howdy or something. And even if we don't ever hear about it for like another 3 months and it makes Lashley lose, who knows?
Yeah. Doubt that.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Doubt we'll see Uncle Howdy. So that is completely up in the air. So we're going to go through the card now, and we're going to kind of start at the bottom, like I mentioned, work our way up to presumably what will probably work our way up to the bigger matches to the main event with Roman and Cody. So we do have these 2 tag matches, which I actually don't hate. I generally don't like the matches where they're just throwing people on the card in whatever form that may be, whether it's a battle royal or a ladder match or what have you. But I'm fine with this because they're calling them basically showcase tag matches. And I appreciate them at least calling it a showcase as opposed to not calling it anything and just throwing people on the card.
Yes, I appreciate that stuff too. It makes it seem like it's not just a throw in, even though this is literally just the exact same thing we've seen for many years. Just that little tweak makes it seem more important.
Yeah. So on the men's side, we have a 4-way tag team match with Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. So this one was made official on the March 17th episode of SmackDown when it was announced that there would be 2 WrestleMania showcase matches, 1 women's tag match and 1 men's tag match. Mom.
If you're going to have these kind of matches too, these are 4 teams I'm really, really excited to see. Maybe Ricochet, maybe not so much Braun Strowman, but the teams in this make me excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that if I was booking this match, I would say the Street Profits would get a WrestleMania victory here. But I actually do, if I had to guess who I think is going to win, I would say Braun Strowman and Ricochet are going to win. Like if I had to just bet my money, I would pick them. But I also think maybe we get a surprise heel turn And I bet you can't guess who I am talking about that could turn heel in this match. Maybe you can, actually.
I don't know. So actually, this is interesting. So like my first thought was dumb and thinking like, I mean, is he really talking about Otis like going to Maximum Male Models? But as you say that, are you talking about Dawkins maybe?
Well, I actually was talking about Otis. You're right. But that might be a better one. Angelo Dawkins turning heel.
Even though they really haven't planted the seeds for that like hard, so that's why I didn't really think of that. But the Otis one would be more fun, I think. So
yeah,
Otis, if you will.
Yeah, if they're gonna do anything with this match, that's what I would guess they're gonna do is Otis turning on Chad Gable.
But I mean, to what we were talking about earlier, if this is gonna be a match that gets some more time than it normally would, I mean, shit. The Viking Raiders, I'm excited to see them showcase. Maybe they have some time to do some of their cool stuff. And like, Chad Gable's great. So this is nice. I'm looking forward to it.
So for the women's tag team showcase match, we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Chelsea and Sonya Deville versus Natalya and Shotzi.
I mean, honestly, I just want to see Ronda and Shayna just beat the crap out of everyone. But I'm excited to see Chelsea Green wrestle in the WWE again. And that's probably it I can honestly say about this, honestly.
Yeah, I think Ronda and Shayna are going to win. I actually don't know what the plan was here. I know Rousey was dealing with some injuries, it looks like. So I don't know what the plan was, but I thought that they were going to be, challenging Becky Lynch and Lita for the tag team titles, but that must be something that may happen in the future, or maybe just whoever wins this match might challenge them in the future. But they're tied up in a 6-woman tag team match, which we'll get to in a sec. But yeah, so for this one, if I was WWE, like I said, if I was guessing who I think they're going to go with, I would say Liv Morgan and Raquel. And that's also who I would pick too. Oh, but I mean, I'm sorry. No, that's who I would pick. But I think that they are going to go with, obviously, Rousey and Baszler.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense to me too. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yep. So we also have the 6-woman tag team match with Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky taking on the women's tag team champions, Becky Lynch and Lita, and WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus.
I am on record, maybe I'm not, I'm going to go on record right now as being someone who I was never really a big Lita fan my entire life. But I'm actually looking forward to this match. I think this is a great way to use like returning vets. I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah, so I am a Lita fan, I guess, compared to you anyway.
Yes.
So pretty much with this one, Bayley and Becky Lynch have been feuding since Bayley's return at SummerSlam last year, right? That was when we had the debut of the Damage Control faction, when Becky Lynch came back into the ring to the aid of Bianca, who had just beaten Becky, but was now facing down 3-1 odds in the ring against Bayley and Damage Control. So then we had Becky Lynch joined Team Belair in the Women's War Games match back at Survivor Series, and she actually scored the victory after putting Dakota Kai through a table. So then we had the steel cage match between Becky Lynch and Bayley on an episode of Raw in February, where Lita returned to the WWE to stop Damage Control from interfering in the match, allowing Becky Lynch to win the match. It was a great cage match when they finally did have the match with Becky Lynch and Bayley. So then Becky Lynch and Lita defeated Kai and Sky, not Kai and Ty, Kai and Sky, for the women's tag team titles when Trish Stratus returned to stop Bayley from interfering in that match. So we just got legends returning, trying to stop Damage Control. Who's going to be next? Molly Holly? Ivory?
Oh,
so
hope so.
Then the following week, Trish Stratus came out and announced that she was coming out of retirement to challenge Damage Control to a 6-woman tag team match with Becky Lynch and Lita. So, I mean, this is probably just like a dream match for all of the women getting to, for Becky Lynch getting to team with Lita and Trish Stratus. And I know that Bayley has said numerous times that Lita was like her idol growing up. So being able to wrestle Lita at WrestleMania, it's good that they get to do that. And then we had Damage Control attack Trish Stratus backstage at a Raw episode. Welcome back, Trish, on that one. Oh my gosh, that was a beatdown.
Oh, I know.
You were just smashing her face up against those boxes. Then last week, we had the tag team champions came out to assist Rhea Ripley, who was facing Bayley in a match on Raw, allowing Ripley to get the win over Bayley, obviously. So now Bayley's going into WrestleMania coming off a loss. No, but yeah, so this is returning legends, Hall of Famers teaming up with Becky Lynch to take on Damage Control. I don't really know what they're going to do here because I don't know how long Lita and Trish plan on sticking around. If I was booking this one, I would just have Damage Control cause some damage and send these Hall of Famers back where they came from.
Yeah, that's what I would do too, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Brutality. That's what I would do.
Unless Trish Stratus turns heel, like that one rumor I heard like 8 weeks ago that has not been substantiated at all, but we'll see. I
mean, it's possible. I think every match here, every match where the build has not been phenomenal, we're just going to inject a possible heel turn. Like, so-and-so could turn heel here. That might spice it up a little bit.
But I think I mentioned that before on one of the shows, and you made a great point, just like you just said too. If Trish Stratus turns heel, that means she's going to have a couple month run, right? Because that's kind of stupid. She's going to turn heel and just leave forever. What a weird thing to do. So it's probably just going to be a straight up match where the legends win.
Probably. It'll probably be a babyface win. But like I said, that's not how I would book it. So we also have a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. The champion, the Ring General, Gunther, defending against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Oh, wait, did I say Intercontinental or is this for the European Championship? Or is this for the Eurocontinental Championship?
If only.
No, it's not for the European title, although it should be.
It's Intercontinental. That has Europe in it.
So this match came together after a fatal 5-way match on an episode of SmackDown ended in both Sheamus and McIntyre getting pinfalls at the same time. That set up a match between the two the following week. Then in that one, Imperium attacked the men and the match ended in a no contest, which I'm not sure what they were thinking doing that, to be honest. But so now we're getting a triple threat match for the IC title. WWE saw how good Gunther versus Sheamus was from Clash at the Castle and decided that they wanted to make it a 3-way clash at WrestleMania. And they decided it seems like that Drew McIntyre would just increase the meat slapping in this one.
Yes, I know it's going to be one of those matches with meat slapping, and it's going to be good. It's going to be brutal, and I'm looking forward to any match with Gunther in it, actually. But I wish he was going in a different direction. I feel like he's always around Sheamus, and Sheamus is always around McIntyre. So it's kind of like, I feel like I've seen it before, but I know I haven't because Gunther is going to be great. So it's going to be awesome.
Yes, Gunther and Sheamus had a great match at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
And, I just was looking at some stuff from Walter from back in the day on the Indies. My God, the transformation that this dude, even just looking at him the other week when they were doing the contract signing or whatever, the transformation that this dude has gone through is insane.
I know, and he still projects that like big hoss attitude, even when he's kind of like ripped,
Yeah, he's still completely large and intimidating force there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. The guy is in phenomenal shape. And he still hits like a son of a bitch too.
That's right.
So there's that, so that helps. But yes, no, I think that this is just going to be a lot of dermal abrasions. What do they call them when you get like the redness when you're been slapped too much? A lot of meat, a lot of big meaty men slapping meat, as a former WWE champion said once. So yeah, I think that I don't know how long they're going to give these guys. I almost think they shouldn't give these guys too much time, because the longer they give these guys in the ring, these guys are just going to hurt each other more. They're not going to stop, until the ref tells them to stop and says, "Hey, time to go home, Shamey."
Yeah, I don't think this needs to be long either, though. So that'll be.
I mean, it could be a 20-minute match for sure. I could see that. I just mean, just throw Ilya Dragunov in there, make it a 4-way, and everyone will just be dead at the end.
That's what I was waiting for, but I'm like, no, there's no way.
Yeah, so I think that these guys are going to be in a lot of pain after this one. If you like watching people get slapped and kicked and their bowdrins beaten, this one will be for you. I don't know if it's going on night 1 or night 2, but my prediction is Gunther wins.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Probably by pinning Sheamus. I could see them giving, so just to say what I think WWE is going to do, I would say I would book Gunther as the winner, and I think it's possible they might pick Drew McIntyre to win. If
McIntyre wins, I'm actually okay with that. If that means Gunther is moving on to bigger and better things, but this is something the problem we have in AEW too. It's like, I want Gunther to lose the Intercontinental title and then go on to face the world champion, but is Cody going to beat Roman and then beat Gunther? I don't want Gunther to lose right away. So
Gunther McGillibuddy. It's going to be Cody versus Gunther McGillibuddy. No, I don't know how Gunther would go on to bigger and better things by losing. I mean, I think that a lot of people think that that's possible, but I would just have him keep winning.
I would appreciate that too, but I feel like they don't do that anymore. So, but we'll see. But at least we don't know what's going to happen, and that's great. And
they should have done Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at this WrestleMania. They had a chance to do it, and they didn't do it.
They definitely should have, yes.
So then we have another match that I'm not sure what night it's on, but we have Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match. So Edge formed the Judgment Day last year, and in June of last year, the group turned on him. They would go on to recruit Dominic Mysterio, Prison Dom, as he is known in some circles. Edge and Beth Phoenix finally thought that they put this feud with the Judgment Day to bed when they defeated Ripley and Finn Balor in a mixed tag match at Elimination Chamber. But alas, Finn Balor will not let Edge move on with his life. He's continuing to pester Edge and issued a challenge for WrestleMania. Edge accepted and then made the match a Hell in a Cell match. Edge mentioned that he wanted the Demon for this match. So then we have some backstage promos going on here. Edge is like a floating head and some candles. And he's talking about how he had to face the dead man himself in the cell. Very Brood-like persona coming out of Edge. Then we had Finn Balor also alone backstage. I think he was in the room that Malachi or Aleister Black used to be in all the time. I think he was in that room. And he basically was just getting the word demon into every sentence. And then you get the little flash of the demon on the screen over Finn Balor's face, thus confirming we will see the Demon in Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania.
He has to win, right?
The Demon?
Yeah.
I would say, well, it's interesting because Edge, when Balor first challenged Edge to this match, Edge said that he had things that he wanted to accomplish before he retired, and he had to get away from this feud with the Judgment Day. So you would think that he wants to accomplish something, he's going to win a match and then go accomplish whatever it was.
Yeah.
Whether it be becoming the champion or whatever it was. Having dream matches against FTR, I don't know. Whatever he was saying he needed to go accomplish. And I don't know how he would accomplish anything after a loss to the Demon, Finn Balor, but also you're bringing back the Demon. You can't have him lose again.
Yep.
He needs to win. And this is again, Triple H in control of the booking of the Demon.
True.
Not an octogenarian. Right?
That's a good point.
So I think, yes, book it. The Demon Finn Balor goes over.
Thanks, Paul.
So yeah, I think it'll be a very good Hell in a Cell match. I think that the Demon is going to win.
I hope so.
It'll probably end up being one of the better matches of the 2 nights.
Actually, yeah, it actually kind of makes sense too. I like that the Hell in a Cell actually means something. It actually is like, I hate you, so let's do this in the place where we can kill each other.
Yeah, that's nice to have as well, right? The fact that this isn't just like, well, Hell in a Cell's coming up. How about these 2 guys in Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
It's like, it's at WrestleMania. It's for a reason. It's good. You got a demon that you can't control. You got a broody guy that you can't control. So we'll see what happens. All right, so let's get to one of my most anticipated matchups of this WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. How excited are you for this on a scale of 1 to Omos?
It's got to be right up there next to Omos.
Yeah, so the past 2 weeks have made me slightly more excited for this one. So this was set up basically with MVP just coming out on Raw 1 week. Actually, he didn't even come out. They were backstage. And he just challenged Brock Lesnar to a match against Omos at WrestleMania. Omos then went on to beat Dolph Ziggler in a match. And they finally faced off. Omos put his hand in Brock Lesnar's face to show that his hand is basically the size of Brock Lesnar's head. He throws Brock Lesnar over the ropes. Brock Lesnar, this is the first time Brock has really faced anybody that he can't manhandle. And then we had the weigh-in this past week on Raw. Did you see this, Kris?
I did.
The weigh-in?
I liked it.
First of all, Omos coming in at 410, allegedly. Think that's his shoot weight? 410?
I don't, but I like it. It makes me feel something.
I mean, not a lot of 400-pounders in the game today. You know, so do you think he maybe, I mean, I'm just curious. You think he's a little lower, higher than 410?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit lower.
I wonder what Brock would have came in at.
Not quite 400, but I think they want to like make it seem crazy.
I think he's maybe just under 400.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so tall, though.
When that big, you know, yeah.
It's just right. A different thing to consider because you think about someone that you think might weigh 400 pounds and, you know, you'd be like, well, they'd have to be pretty big looking. But he's just so tall.
Yeah, we're not talking about like a 5'7" Yokozuna here, okay?
Yeah. We're not talking about Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly.
Yeah.
The super heavyweights. We're talking about a legitimate giant. Omos.
I mean, I am interested in this match, though, because I don't know what's going to happen and how they're actually going to do a match together. I guess that's enough for me to be interested.
I will give this match a lot of leeway as it's happening. I will say that. Like, I will let them have these weird botchy moments if they just will try, you know? If they just try to do wrestling moves and not make this like a gimmicky Brock Lesnar match where they don't do much, or I should really say a Goldberg match that Brock Lesnar might, you know, be in every now and then. But if they try to actually have a match where they're calling somebody's calling something. I don't know who would be calling the spots in that one. Jeez, can you imagine Brock Lesnar trying to call a spot?
Just yelling spots, yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care what you do. He'll be like, what do we do next? I don't care. You know, I'm just going to throw you around anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to punch you. All right.
Yeah. Oh. So I think that, yeah, if they try to do a couple spots, then I think it will be good and it will be interesting because this weigh-in was hilarious. Brock Lesnar comes out. Brock Lesnar thought he was Vikingo coming out on Raw. He's bouncing off the ropes. He's doing like shoulder tackles to Omos. I was like, geez, Brock. He looked like Vikingo in there against compared to Omos.
Yeah, that's true.
So then the the crowd around Brock Lesnar was once again in danger because that scale, okay, that looked like a legitimate scale. It didn't look like a gimmick scale, like it was made out of cardboard or anything on Raw. And they were swinging that thing around like the Ultimate Warrior swung the Intercontinental title around. Do you see this?
Well, they're massive. That's a good point. I mean, that's...
Well, first, Brock picks up the scale, and Omos almost kicked his head off. Did you see that?
I must have been looking down at my phone or something. I don't remember that.
I tweeted that. What did I tweet about this one? About the Brock versus Omos weigh-in. I think it's like the only thing I tweeted. I just tweeted that big boot from Omos looked like it sent Brock back to the Alistair Overeem fight. Hashtag WWE Raw. Yeah, it was just sometimes when you look at how like that boot looked like, and maybe Brock is fine. Maybe it didn't hurt him. You know, it's not like he had a big bruise immediately.
Yeah,
but that boot looked like it stopped him in his tracks and knocked him backwards by his head, you know? And like some of the boots, the big boots, the kicks, super kicks, you know, they do the knee slapping or whatever slapping that Booker T would fire you over. And they make a lot of noise. There's like a noise. In this one, no noise. Just Brock hitting the mat hard. So Brock, what were you going to say?
I was like, that means it's a real. I think that was a real hit that Brock's like, he might have been able to like kind of quote unquote dodge it, but there was nothing knee slapping about that one. That was just a big hoss kick.
And a fun thing to do during Brock Lesnar matches or back in the day during Brock Lesnar fights is when you think someone may have just hit Brock with something really hard, look right at Brock's face. See what he does. Because he's terrible at underselling things. He's terrible at taking it on the chin. You know what I mean? Like if you hit Brock with something hard, it's immediately visible on his face. He's just going to be so angry. His head is just going to turn purple for one.
Great point.
So it's hard for him to not instantly get enraged. So he like rolls out of the ring and I was just looking at him. I was like, I wonder what Brock thought of that one. That big boot. Was he, like I said, was he thinking about Alistair Overeem again? Because that thing looked devastating. It literally just very few times have I seen Brock Lesnar stopped in his tracks like that, which makes this thing interesting, but in a funny way, you know?
I agree. Yes, that's exactly how I'm thinking about it.
So we'll see what happens in this colossal tussle at WrestleMania 39 between Brock Lesnar and Omos. Who do I pick to win? Just going to go with the safe bet and pick Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I mean, he probably shouldn't win, but what are you going to do with Omos? So, you know, is he going to get pushed? This isn't Vince McMahon's WWE anymore. He's not going to get a Great Khali run.
Well, this is Vince McMahon's WWE, actually.
Well, good point.
This is Omos versus Brock Lesnar. No, there was actually more to the story, and I don't have all my I don't have my Pepe Sylvia whiteboard behind me with all of the yarn pieces to all the photos to track it, but I know there was more to the story with Brock and Omos than it may have been Vince McMahon deciding that that's what he wanted to do, but it seems like there was more pieces to that puzzle, you know?
Well, that's good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how long this one goes. I think that's the big thing we're interested in how long of a match these two fools have. All right, so then it is now official, folks. At WrestleMania 39, we will get father versus ungrateful son when Rey Mysterio teaches a lesson, a much-needed lesson to Dominic Mysterio. So overall, the build to this match has like exceeded my expectations. I think a lot of people probably think that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because it was pretty obvious to see that Rey and Dominic, the second there was any dissension on their tag team, that they were wanting to eventually do a Rey versus Dominic match feud program. And then as it got closer to WrestleMania, it became more obvious that it was probably going to be at WrestleMania. if it was going to happen at all. And then, yes, as we got on the road to WrestleMania, it became abundantly clear that someone was going to have to teach this punk a lesson. This punk who grew up with the finer things in life, thanks to his father, Rey Mysterio, providing a life for him that very few others would be able to have, thanks to his phenomenal wrestling ability. And is Dominic grateful for any of these things? No.
No, he's not.
No, but yes, I think, like I said, the build has exceeded expectations because it's a pretty simple build. You know, the son wants to fight the father keeps trying to get away from it, or the brother. In a lot of cases, it's usually the brother versus brother. In this case, it's father and son. Rey Mysterio switched brands to get away from his son. Dominic cost Rey the Royal Rumble, you know, by attacking him, taking his mask. Numerous other times, Dominic interfered in Rey's business.
All the holidays.
Ruined every holiday over the past year, basically, of his father's life. Made his sister, Aaliyah, and his mom, Angie Mysterio, made their lives a living hell. Goes to prison. I did think that one was funny. Rey's mom smacks Rhea Ripley. Or, I'm sorry, Dominic's mom smacks Rhea Ripley, so Dominic's going to jail. And yeah, he's called Prison Dom. He was out of there within a few days. I don't know what prison lets you out in a few days.
More like holding cell Dom. That's okay.
Yeah. More like lockup Dom.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it is a simple build, and we all saw it coming, but they did enough to make it a little bit different so that it's pretty great.
And even while there's this continuous denial by Rey Mysterio, I'm not going to fight you, son, it's still obvious to us that he is, right?
Yeah.
But he was able to make it very interesting and entertaining because you finally got out of Rey, after all this pestering by Dominic and all this over-the-top exaggeration of, I wish I was Eddie's son, you know, bringing Eddie into it. And it's just like, first of all, when he said that to Rey Mysterio, Rey was just like, you could just, right through his mask, you could see the emotions on his face of like, oh my God. So this became a lot more than just a simple father and son. Father wants to help his son get over, you know, in the wrestling business or whatever. So he's going to wrestle with him. And so they're bringing up they're bringing up Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio is just, seems like he's getting closer to that edge, but he still wouldn't fight his son. And then he finally says it, right? He finally says, you know, I would beat a punk ass like you at WrestleMania, but for a father to fight his son is the biggest disgrace. And it was like, that was, I thought was perfect because it kind of gave him a meaning and a reason, because you're waiting for him to just say, you know, I'll fight you now, or you're waiting for him to finally hit Dominic, which, spoiler, he did. But in that moment, you did get an explanation of why are you just walking away when this punk is, he just whoop his ass already, you know? But then for Rey to say a father fighting his son would be the biggest disgrace. I think that was an important part of this. And then, because it gave you a reason, why are we doing this over the top thing every week, right? But it gave Rey a reason not to want to fight his son. Like, even though you're being the biggest piece of garbage ever, you know, a father should still not fight his son. And it's like, all right, well, you got to be on Rey's side. And then Dominic just could not stop, could he? On SmackDown last week, we got the Mysterio family in attendance. Rey's going in the Hall of Fame. This should be a time for family celebration, a time to celebrate the achievements and the career of Rey Mysterio. So his family is ringside at SmackDown. And then Dominic goes over to his mom and sister, starts yelling at them, yells in his mom's face. And this, another thing that just made this good was he's yelling at his mom and his sister. And then up on the old Titantron, you got Rey, who Dominic just attacked him, right? And he's costing him matches, and Rey's leaving, going up the ramp or the entrance, and you just see Rey's facial reaction blown up on the Titantron to Dominic berating his mom and sister. And then he says something to his sister like, "You're too stupid to know what's going on." And then he tells his mom like, "Shut up." And then Rey Mysterio, that's when it's just like the button clicked for Rey, you know? That's when he just starts walking over like every man should when someone tells their wife and daughter to shut up. He just starts walking over and, you know, he just punched Dominic, knocked him down. It wasn't like a big, like he should have like stomped him out like Stone Cold in the corner or something. But the crowd would have just gone nuts. But yeah, so he finally put his hands on his son. Like I said, after giving him the good life, the finer things in life, like Gucci and Prada. He finally put his hands on his ungrateful son. And the funniest part about this was Dominic is like acting surprised. Like, you've been challenging him to a match. This is what you want. It's just funny how Dominic is so over the top with everything. And so then he finally says a typical father who just hit his son thing. "You made me do this."
Oh God, I know.
No, but I mean, it's like he did, but at the same time, it's like, take some responsibility here, you know? Take some responsibility for this son you created, Rey. Look at this punk.
Good point.
Somebody needs to take responsibility for this punk. No, just kidding. But yeah, so it was good. So Rey says, you know, "You want a match at WrestleMania? You're on." So there you go, Dom. You just woke up the beast. No, he didn't wake up the beast. The beast did one time throw Dominic over the guardrail, though.
That's right.
But yeah, so the build has been cheesy but entertaining. Like I said, exceeding expectations with Dominic and Rey. We all knew it was going to happen, but the fact that they're just on every episode of Raw and SmackDown, just every week, it's been great, I thought.
Yeah.
So Rey's going in the Hall of Fame on Friday, whooping that ass the next night, potentially on Saturday or Sunday.
I hope it's Saturday because I like that. He goes into the Hall of Fame Friday and whoops that ass on Saturday. That has a good ring to it.
Yes. And how are we booking this match? We've already booked it. Rey Mysterio. It's going over. Three Amigos, 619. What else do you want? Frog Splash.
Frog, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
I don't think Dom should win this one. And then obviously if Dom wins, then they keep it going, wrestle again, maybe goes till SummerSlam, something like that. But I would have Rey get this first one.
Yeah, I think my general feeling so far has been I like some of the heels to win, especially like the Finn Balor's of the world. But I think in this one, Dominic does not have to win. He can get his ass beat and he can still do exactly what he does.
Yeah, and obviously I think if they are going to book him to win, it'll be maybe interference with like Damian Priest or something. He's kind of the odd man out at WrestleMania on the Judgment Day. So then a match we have confirmed to kick off night one of WrestleMania. We have the United States champion Austin Theory defending against John Cena. And we've only seen John Cena once, basically, for this, right?
Yes.
When he came out and murdered Austin Theory dead.
Eviscerated him, yes.
And then left. So, yeah, the build for this one has been interesting. Actually, no, it hasn't been interesting.
I know, it could have been so much better.
Yeah. So, John Cena just came out one time in Boston and murked Austin Theory on the mic. Said that, it was just, he just killed him. You know, it's like when you go at the shooting range, when they pull the paper back to you to see where your shots went, they're all in the head in this one with that promo. Yes. No, John Cena definitely cut a promo destroying Austin Theory in Boston on Raw. But he did accept the match. He said that Austin Theory was going to, he basically broke it down for us and said Austin Theory loses either way. Like, either way you lose. Either you lose to John Cena, then you lose, obviously, your title. Or you beat John Cena, and he said something about being at the Raw after Mania, and you just beat John Cena. Like, it didn't really make a ton of sense, but he basically said that he wasn't ready.
Yeah, he said it with such, like, anger and, like, disdain that it didn't mean to make sense. It was like, ooh.
So obviously, I don't think the point here is for John Cena to win this match. I think the point is to get someone like Austin Theory, who's still a big prospect, even after being mishandled by the previous regime, by the octogenarian. And yeah, I think that these guys are going to have a really good match, and I think that I hope Austin Theory wins. I think we should book Austin Theory to win. This is another thing, they can just keep pushing it out, and then maybe Austin Theory beats John Cena at SummerSlam. But I think Cena's coming back. The build hasn't been stellar because he hasn't been there.
Yeah, so I think if he was there a lot, we might see like Cena take the title for a little tiny run. But like in my head, I'm like wondering if like they'll do a stupid thing like remember when Jericho beat Kevin Owens for the U.S. title, and then he lost it like the next time on SmackDown? I wonder if they're going to do the same kind of thing where like we all expect Theory to win, but Cena wins, and like the next time on Raw, Theory wins it back or something.
See, I actually
like that idea, but who knows?
I actually think that would be worse for Austin Theory, right? Is Cena winning and then losing it? Like, maybe Austin Theory beats him on SmackDown or even on Raw the next night, Yeah. But I think that the only thing that makes sense is for Austin Theory to win. Now, if they did... And they did try to plant that seed of like, you're not ready. Maybe that's the story, is Austin Theory is not ready yet. John Cena is going to come in and show him he's not ready. He's going to beat him. And then eventually he will be ready and he will beat John Cena, something like that. But they're not doing enough of that.
Yeah.
It's
actually a good story. I kind of like that. But yeah, they're definitely not doing that.
And I did like Austin Theory's promo on Raw to close this thing out, wrap this thing up. The empty arena promo. I thought that was a nice touch. With Austin Theory basically saying that he's had goals since before anybody liked him or hated him, So I think they haven't. This hasn't done the job of elevating Austin Theory that it should have, but it'll probably still be a good match.
Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah, definitely.
After dinner, maybe everybody can go out to eat with a couple octogenarians. All right, another one. Official for night 1 of WrestleMania. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. I'm minorly interested in this one. Unfortunately, just to cut right to it, I unfortunately think Logan Paul is going to win.
Oh, man.
Unless maybe The Miz, as the host, could come out and redeem himself and actually cost Logan Paul the match after Logan Paul turned on him.
I mean, maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Man, Logan Paul. I mean, Seth Rollins could take a loss to Logan Paul and just be fine. But, God, do I ever want to see Logan Paul win at WrestleMania? Absolutely not.
What kind of Pokemon card do you think he's going to have around his neck?
God.
For the entrance?
Like 4 of them, like an idiot.
Do you think it'll be graded?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Is it going to be a Gem Mint 10 card around his neck? Or is it going to be a pack of like baseball cards or whatever that he bought one time thinking that they were Pokemon cards? What was that? Were they baseball cards or were they like fake Super Mario cards or something like? I think they were like Super Mario. But Logan Paul, when he bought that expensive unsealed Pokemon card box, and it was all trash.
I do remember that. Haha.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I think that they're probably going to have a decent match. I think Seth Rollins is a great guy to work with to have a good match when you haven't had that many matches, but you can still I think Rollins will be able to push Logan Paul a little bit here, but still guide him, so to speak.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be an entertaining match. Logan Paul does do some fun stuff in the ring, and Seth Rollins is pretty great, so it will be good.
Then we have the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Another one that the build has not been really on fire for this match with Charlotte and Rhea. Rhea, I think, is great. She was deserving to win the Royal Rumble. I think she was everybody's pick. She came in at number 1 in the Royal Rumble, right? Didn't she? I believe. She came in at number 1.
1 or 2, so... No, it was 1. Liv Morgan was 2.
Yeah, Liv Morgan was number 2. And I think it's definitely her time. She's earned a big WrestleMania championship win. And it's just, they had a pull-apart brawl, but it seemed forced. It seemed like they did it because they tried to just inject some level of animosity between these two. And I don't know. I just think that with all of these matches at WrestleMania, some of them aren't clicking, and it's because these people are not. Like, Rhea's doing her thing with the Judgment Day, which is fine and good, but these WrestleMania matches, these guys and girls are not facing off enough. So then when they do have a brawl, you're kind of left wondering, well, why do they even dislike each other? Why do they even want to brawl so much? We don't even know what their motivations are, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we know what Rhea's motivations are because she let us know this week on Raw when she tried to close out their feud and said, it's like Charlotte's legacy versus Rhea's time, and it's Rhea's time now. So I do think it is Rhea's time. I think she's going to beat Charlotte, but I don't think it's going to have the this isn't like a Daniel Bryan situation where everybody's going to be, going nuts for Rhea Ripley, unfortunately.
I know. I mean, why am I blanking on this? But didn't Rhea Ripley lose Trial Flight WrestleMania before, which she should have definitely won?
Yeah, the reason why you're blanking on it is because you have fog from being in your house for 3 years straight. And this was at the WrestleMania at the Performance Center.
Man, of course it was there. That's why. You're right.
Yeah, that was Charlotte going back to NXT and winning the NXT title.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh man,
at WrestleMania.
That WrestleMania was so sad. Drew McIntyre wins, and
just in a room.
Yeah.
Just in a room. That was sad for all of us because I remember there was so little going on in the world at that time that it was like every TV production is getting shut down. Everything we watch is getting shut down, obviously along with all of our lives getting shut down. But I remember being WrestleMania, as ill-advised as it was the only live event. It was the only thing happening still. So I was so excited to watch it just to get the 2 nights. You should just try to put this miserable hell that we were living in out of our minds for a few hours, which it did accomplish that, but it was just such a sad time. And the WrestleMania itself wasn't good at all. I mean, there's probably some good moments and some good matches. They had like that weird ladder match that was pretty good, but yeah, no, that WrestleMania is kind of in a hole in my brain. And yes, but Rhea, and that's why they probably haven't been, showing you footage of that match in the buildup. Like, yeah, Rhea's gonna get revenge. Remember, here's the match. No, haven't seen that match. They don't want. They went back and watched it and were like, we don't want to ever watch this again. So yeah, so this build, however, can't really lean on that too much, other than just to state the fact that Charlotte previously beat Rhea at WrestleMania. So, but yes, I do think Rhea will come out on top. The question is, does Charlotte and Rhea main event night 1 of WrestleMania?
I think yes. Man, yes.
Interesting spot because there's no, clear-cut decision to main event night 1, or there's no clear-cut obvious choice. But the 2 choices that we have, I would say, are Charlotte versus Rhea for the SmackDown Women's Championship, or Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens versus the Usos in the biggest tag team championship match in history, which also could main event the show.
Oh, they should do that, actually. I think, that's got to be it.
Yeah, and the explanation I would give for why I think the tag team title match should headline night 1 is because it's so much more of a hot story. It's the big story going into WrestleMania. It's the big feud, right? The thing that the fans are most interested in, and it's like by a long shot. So it's not like, this feud is also, people are very interested in it. They're not.
Yeah.
So but everybody is interested in Kevin and Sami. And if it were close, I could even say just put the women in the main event, these 2, Charlotte and Rhea. But I just feel like it has not gotten a lot of excitement behind it, Yeah,
it doesn't mean it's a slight to them, just...
But I actually do... I do think it will main event, and that's fine. I just think I would pick Sami and Kevin because, I mean, this is obviously bigger than any other tag team title match as well, which we'll get to. But But yeah. I actually don't have that one written down, so we need to do that one. Okay, so then, is this one confirmed for night one? Bianca versus Asuka?
I don't think it is.
I don't know. But on either night one or night two, we will see Asuka, who won the Elimination Chamber, challenge Bianca Belair, who I actually didn't really remember until Monday watching Raw, that Bianca has been the champion since last year at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Crazy. So Asuka will challenge Bianca. This should be a great match. I have this one pegged as easily could be match of the night, match of both nights if they give these two enough time. But yeah, it should be a good match. The build has been a little not exciting for this one. Not really a lot to go off of. Asuka won the Elimination Chamber, so she's the number one contender. They've had some face-offs. And like I said, now they will wrestle in probably one of the better matches of WrestleMania. And who do you think is going to win?
Oh, man. I think that Bianca's going to win.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Bianca's been the champion for a year. Remember I said we're going to try to spice up every boring matchup here? Do we think we could see a Bianca heel turn at WrestleMania? Maybe, well, obviously have to be a double turn, right? We'd have to somehow become we'd have to start wanting Asuka to win. We'd have to become sympathetic to Asuka in the match. Maybe Bianca just starts doing some damn heel moves in the match, and we're going, wait, Bianca, why are you doing that? What are you doing? Why are you hitting her like that? What? Well, oh, don't use the chair. Oh, no. Oh, what? You went the ref?
I don't know. I think it's better for Asuka to keep being a heel and just be more heel. And maybe she should win because I think Bianca's always going to have like that like flashy wrestling style, that like impressive wrestling style, that power, everything she does. So she can always fall back on that. So Asuka has been lost for so long, I think, and no one's really cared about Asuka for so long that maybe she should be the one who's like a little bit different, being a super heel, spraying mist everywhere, and maybe winning. I don't know.
So you're saying like Asuka might turn heel?
Like, yeah, I think she's supposed to kind of be a heel now, but I think she needs to go full force, 150%, like pull all the moves out and just be the worst.
Yeah, like get some heat on herself during the match. Maybe use the mist, something like that. Heel tactics.
Be relentless, break her arm or something. You know, have that thing happen. Let Bianca take some time off.
Yeah, so somebody needs to turn heel is what we're saying to make this thing exciting. Either the babyface or the heel needs to turn heel in this match.
We sound like Vince Russo this whole review. Someone's got to turn.
The baby faces against the heels. No, but you know, it seems like that's kind of the go-to move to make this exciting is somebody has to become a bad guy for once.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? And yeah, it's interesting. Bianca having won the championship last year at WrestleMania makes me think, wouldn't you just have her lose it? And the reason why I say heel turn might be on the horizon is because it has been a year. She's been a babyface the entire year. And no doubt, in my opinion, Bianca Belair is the best women's wrestler in the world. That's what I think. So she's been deserving of being the champion for this entire time. I do think she should keep beating everyone, but I also don't want her to become stale. So you got to do something. Do I think she should beat Asuka? Yes. This is Triple H's WrestleMania. Who do I think? We got two Triple H people here, Bianca and Asuka.
Yeah.
Right? I think Asuka is going to win. I think whether she, babyface this, heel that. I think Asuka is going to win.
Okay, I think put that in pencil. I think so too.
Pencil? No. Pen. How about this? Nah, this is what we write. We book our matches in Sharpie. No, I don't do that. No, I don't recommend that.
Speaking on Belair one more time, I think we're going to be waiting for that Bianca heel turn when Montez Ford heel turns and they become a heel dominant couple, which I'm hoping for because I think they'd both be great at that.
Yeah, sounds like we want a lot of stuff to be shuffled around going into this WrestleMania, coming out of it, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, isn't this kind of like the end of the quote unquote like year and then the new season starts?
We
If we're
want
talking TV terms.
Dawkins to turn on heel on the Street Profits. We want Montez Ford to turn heel on the Street Profits. We want Bianca to turn heel.
Everybody's. There's no. What is a babyface?
In wrestling, the good guys are known as the baby faces. The bad guys are heels. Okay, we have to stop saying that. Those two words. We've met our quota here.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so let's get into what I feel is basically the co-main event of either night of WrestleMania 39 is the WWE Undisputed Universal Unified Tag Team Championship match between the Usos defending against the Canadian Usos, Sami and Kev. This to me is second most. I mean, it's the most important match at WrestleMania. It's the only. It's at the top of people's interest. I think is this match, and I think that Kevin and Sami rightly described it on Raw this past week as being the biggest tag team championship match in history.
Pretty much. I mean, I haven't remembered a tag team match that I've been this excited to see in a while. With the, or at least at the very least, as like excited I am to see new champions. You know, like it actually means something. Not
since Demolition and the Colossal Connection faced off at WrestleMania 6 have I been as excited for a tag team championship match at WrestleMania. So yeah, this has been phenomenal. I mean, Sami Zayn is the top babyface in WWE. There's a lot of things they could have done with Roman and Sami after Sami had this completely like off the charts program with the Bloodline that was just some of the most amazing WWE television in the past like 20 years. They've now moved Sami on to teaming back up with Kevin Owens to challenge the Usos. And the build for this one has been good, but it's almost all been on building up towards the reuniting of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And they even got me when they finally did it, when Kevin Owens finally ran over and just grabbed Sami Zayn and hugged him. I thought that moment was great.
It was.
Even though we saw it coming, I thought it was awesome. Leave it to these guys to make everything they do completely awesome.
Yes. That's why it'll be a great moment. That's why I think it should be main event night one.
Yes, and obviously you had the conflict of Jey Uso. Will he go back to the Bloodline? Will he side with Sami Uso? No, he went back to his family because he had to. He didn't have a choice. You can't just pick your Canadian friend over your blood.
That's right.
He had no choice. Jey Uso didn't hit Roman with that chair. Sami did. He left Jey with no choice. He had to stay with his family, stay with the Bloodline. And now we're getting the tag team title match. I think this will be a great match. I think there could be some Solo Sikoa interference. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe Paul Heyman, maybe, maybe not. But maybe they might save those two, for the Roman Cody match. Or if they're on separate nights, maybe Heyman and Sikoa are involved in both matches. But I would definitely say that they're going to keep the people guessing with this one. At the end, it's probably going to be a lot of near falls. And then finally, Sami and Kevin will become the champions, and the crowd will go nuts.
Yes. Oh, man, that's going to be good.
And it'll be a bigger pop than when Cody wins. What?
It will be. That's why it can't be on the same night. First of all, it cannot. You cannot have. It has to be night one. Even if it's whether it's a main event or not, it has to be night one.
I would say so, yes.
And I'm actually going into that match. I'm actually going to care. It's going to be like when Triple H was fighting Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, when I almost 100% knew that Daniel Bryan was going to beat Triple H. But I still kind of thought Triple H might not let it happen. So I was really invested in the near falls. So this will be the same thing. Because I'm 99% sure that Sami and Kevin Owens are going to win, right? But I still have that little doubt. So I'll be popping for near falls.
Right. I just think that that's how they're going to do this one. But yeah, so this will be good. These guys coming back together has been good. These guys have just been tethered to each other from day one, it seems like. I mean, even just their time in WWE. But yeah. So yeah, we'll see if that match headlines night one or if they put it on night two, which I wouldn't. No. So then are there any other matches that we haven't talked about before we get to the main event?
I don't think it's only right down my list. Hold on.
Seth freaking Rollins, John freaking Cena. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Think we'll see an appearance from the Rattlesnake?
No.
You don't think he'll be there?
No, I cannot believe.
So we're back here. We had some SD card issues that I wasn't aware of here. God, such amateurs here. But yes, Cody, Roman, the build has been formulaic to me because this feud has been missing these two facing off and kind of being at each other's throats a little bit. And I know that's not the story they're going for. They're going for the story of Cody is just here to win a championship. He's just here to achieve his goals, and it's business and it's not personal. But it would be more exciting if these guys were constantly getting pulled apart every week, wouldn't it, and fighting?
I think so. And I mean, Dusty has a lot of ties to Paul Heyman, too. They could have brought that up more often. You know, if they really want to make it personal, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and they did have that great promo with Cody and Paul Heyman, but that's what I'm talking about, is they had to bring in Paul Heyman to cut a promo on the connection with Paul Heyman and Dusty Rhodes, and when Dusty Rhodes went to ECW in 2000 and he needed a paycheck. And it's like, again, you're just telling us not to talk about Dusty, and the only thing we're talking about is Dusty Rhodes, right?
Yep.
And it's fine that we're talking about Dusty, and it's fine that we're talking about Paul Heyman. That was an entertaining exchange between the two of them. But that's all we're seeing is Cody and Paul Heyman. Every match Cody has, he's looking outside the ring at Paul Heyman. Roman should be sitting there at ringside. Roman should be sitting there on commentary, right, during Cody's matches. They should be having backstage, locker room sit downs with Cody and Roman, and maybe Paul Heyman is there. But they've only had a minimal amount of face-offs. And the one face-off or the two face-offs that they had were great, I thought. But Roman not being there has hurt this for sure. I can't say it hasn't.
And I think when you say the build has been formulaic, I think it's because, listen, I like Cody. I do. But I think he's just a formulaic guy. When he's playing this like babyface dude that he plays, he's just a formulaic kind of bland persona. And I think, to your point, if they were at each other's throats a little more, maybe Cody wouldn't be so formulaic. He would actually have a little more fire, and people would actually want him to beat Roman Reigns, because now it's kind of just like we all expect it, and at least no one's turned on Cody, so in decent reactions. I'm still excited for him to win, but there's just that it's not been something's missing.
Yeah, you know what's missing? Fighting is missing. We've gotten the Cody promos. We've gotten the soliloquies. We've gotten the motivation for Cody coming back. And that's all fine. He's had a couple matches here and there. And then obviously he had a great match against Solo Sikoa on Raw to kind of soften him up for Roman. So he's not in 100% physical condition going into the biggest match of his career, right? Which helps, but again, you know what should happen at the end of that match? Roman and Cody facing off. And I know Roman's on the part-time schedule and he's around less and they're doing what they can, but this is the main event of WrestleMania. And I feel like Cody has been doing all of the work. It has all been the Cody show in the main event. But conversely, for the past almost 3 years, going back to the Thunderdome era, the story has always been Roman Reigns. So we kind of plugged Cody in where he's on our TV every week and not Roman.
All right. Good. Nice. That's a good point to bring up. You're right. That's a little different. That's better, I guess.
Yeah. So I feel like it's Cody is going to win unless they do a fake out on all of us. But I do think Cody is going to win, and I hope that they have a good match. And we'll see what a Cody title run looks like after WrestleMania.
It'll be strange to see someone who's not Roman Reigns with the championship, or Brock Lesnar.
Just to talk about Roman's title reign as we kind of close out here. This title reign. I don't even remember. When did Roman even win? I just remember Roman coming back, spearing the Fiend, right? In the Thunderdome. He speared the Fiend when the Fiend was champion. And then it's all a blur to me, and Roman is the champion now. But I'll say one thing. This seems like at WrestleMania that it's kind of the conclusion of the Bloodline story, or it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or fashion. Their dominance, their run on top seems to be coming to an end, or it could be. And this has been a phenomenal story to watch, because every moment when we think, how much longer can they go on? It's going to get stale. It's going to get old. They find a way to inject new life into this, whether it's with Jey Uso turning, leaving the bloodline, or in the beginning, Jey Uso, there was no bloodline. Jey Uso just wanted to be the head of the table himself. And then this is how we established that Roman was the head of the table and the tribal chief. And then Jimmy Uso comes back, and now he's not sure if he's going to side with the bloodline. And then Jey leaves the bloodline again. And then now, a year ago, imagine this, a year ago, in March of 2022, Sami Zayn, in his Che Guevara outfit, walks into the bloodline's locker room. And he's like, hey, Roman, what's up? And that's basically the beginning of Sami and the bloodline. In the biggest story of Sami Zayn's career, he just walks into the bloodline's locker room. Hey, Roman, I'm a big fan. I acknowledge you as this annoying guy that you would never think these guys would have anything to do with, right?
Yeah, that's so funny.
And then look where we've come since then, right? Sami trying to really just be associated with the bloodline. He was just trying to wear a bloodline t-shirt without getting beat up, and then he's doing their bidding. He's almost like their errand boy. Then he's an honorary Uso. Oh. Then he's a real Uso. Then he is bloodline. But then at the Royal Rumble this year, one of the best pay-per-view endings I've seen in a very long time in WWE.
Yes, absolutely.
Sami Zayn will not attack Kevin Owens after he's already beaten and handcuffed to the ropes. So then the bloodline lays out Sami and Kevin after Sami obviously hits Roman with the chair. And then you just have these two guys laying in the middle of the ring, the bloodline getting showered with booze as they leave, with the baby faces just laid out.
It's great.
Yeah, so it has been a great story, and it seems like something is going to evolve, whether it's the Usos breaking off from the bloodline or Roman and Solo, having a feud, but
yeah, I mean, that's what I think it's gonna lead to.
Yeah, I feel like if this is the end of if this was the high point of the bloodline, or if the high point has already come for the bloodline, it's been fun.
I know. It's gonna be sad when they're not around.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens at WrestleMania 39. We will be watching both nights, WrestleMania. We will be back next week. We will have a WrestleMania 39 review show. So we will also have a normal episode of the podcast that breaks down the biggest stories in and out of the ring, because undoubtedly during WrestleMania week, there are big stories to break down in and out of the ring. I will be trying to freebase wrestling events over the next week or so. I will be trying to somehow watch the Bloodsport event going down on Thursday. I'm going to try to watch Joey Janela's Spring Break. Obviously going to watch SmackDown, the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about NXT Stand and Deliver. Might be a collapsible segment on a Saturday afternoon. We'll see. Obviously, night one, WrestleMania Saturday. Night two, WrestleMania Sunday. Got the Raw After Mania, which we will definitely get to on next week's show. So we will be back with a normal show this week. We're going to be talking all things CM Punk, Jon Moxley, drama. And we will be back next week with a review of WrestleMania. And then another normal episode of Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. next week to cover all of the Mania week viral moments that we are here to break down. So thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for hitting that play button. If you haven't already, be kind, hit like, and subscribe. Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. What does this button do?
I'm not the biggest fan of sports entertainment, but that was pretty entertaining.
There's people in there! There's people in there! You want to make big money, you got to do big boy shit, you know?
He may need attention.
You underestimate my power.
What's a baby face?
Won't open, won't open. Not this one, not this one. None of them open.
Somebody hit somebody!
Still selling fake doors.
We have fake doors like you wouldn't believe? What are you worried about? Come get fake doors. Call us up and order some fake doors. They don't even hesitate.
Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman.